Live from the Julius Arthur Leonard Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's TC at Home, presented by Theater Charlotte. I'm your host, Chris Timmons. Welcome to our first episode, an in-depth look at Quarantine the Musical with our lead actors, Miss Kate McCracken and Mr. Noah Wardy. So if you've been following TC over these past, at all, then you're probably familiar with these audition videos for Quarantine the Musical. If you haven't been following us, then you're not watching this anyway, but let me get everybody caught up to where we are at this point. So several weeks ago, we asked you to send in audition videos singing a favorite song from a musical, but with original lyrics reflecting our current situation in quarantine. You were then asked to challenge your friends, your family members, and fellow performers to send in an audition piece. We had no idea what to expect, but as usual, this community has some great talent. We were pleasantly surprised. Some of them made us laugh, some of them made us cry. They've all been entertaining to watch. If you missed any of these audition videos, you can search for them on Facebook, #QuarantineTheMusical. And even though our cast list was posted this past Wednesday, don't let that stop you from sending in audition videos. We love to see them, and we are going to select our favorites to highlight on this show, and some will be selected to win some great prizes courtesy of Theater Charlotte. So keep challenging your friends and post those videos on Facebook, #QuarantineTheMusical. And be sure to tag Theater Charlotte. Who knows? You may even win a write-in role in Quarantine the Musical. All right, before we begin and bring in our first guest, let me remind you to tune in every Wednesday at 7:30 for Theater Charlotte's Isolation Radio Hour, which features classic radio shows performed live. This week, we bring you an episode of Life of Riley titled Mother-in-Law, followed by The Adventures of the Thin Man, the Case of the All-American Menace. All right, so let's bring in our first guest. You voted, and in the lead role of Cora Lockton, you selected Kate McCracken.
Hello.
Hi, Kate.
How are you?
Sit on our virtual couch here.
Oh, of course, yes.
So, how does it feel to land such a big role for Theater Charlotte, someplace you've never worked?
Yes, it feels awesome. I've always really admired Theater Charlotte because, you know, being in the theater community in Charlotte, all my friends are doing stuff there. And I've really wanted to do a show there. It's just never like scheduling worked out. So I'm really excited to be able to like take advantage of the quarantine downtime to do this.
Awesome, great.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm a sophomore or maybe a junior now. Not really sure, but right now I'm a 10th grader. I just turned 16 a few days ago. I love to play guitar. I have a dog named Max. He's super cool. Let's see. Oh, a fun fact is my heart is on the right side of my body instead of the left. I'll throw that one at you real fast. Yeah, it's on the opposite side because I'm missing a lobe of my lung. So that's always the fun fact that I like to share. It's a nice icebreaker. Yeah. What else? I love to travel. My family does some pretty cool summer trips. So I love, you know, getting out and exploring, and theater is my favorite thing ever, tied off of that.
So you play guitar. Do you think we'll see you playing guitar in Quarantine the Musical?
Oh, maybe. I mean, throw that out there. Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. Little. Do you have a favorite show or role that you've played ever, or maybe one from Charlotte Latin?
Yeah. I have two. That's probably cheating, but I did Seussical a few years ago, and I was Maisie, and that was so fun because Maisie's just like a feel-good role. Like you feel good when you're doing it on stage because she's just so like extravagant and crazy. And then a few months ago, I was Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast at Latin in the Bell understudy. So I got to do like two roles almost, and that was really cool. I loved being Potts. Potts was like one of the top for sure.
Mhm. Was there a show that you were preparing for?
No, I actually am in Seussical again at J Stage here in Charlotte, but obviously we're rehearsing through Zoom actually for that. So that's been a crazy experience, like navigating, learning music and running dialogue through a computer screen. But definitely also really glad I'm a part of that because, who knows how long this will be the new normal. So I'm glad that like I'm getting to be artistic in the middle of the craziness.
Yeah. So now you're going to be juggling 2 shows at the same time. Is that something that you've ever done that?
I have never done that. I mean, I think it'll be fine because there's nothing else going on. So it eliminates like the whole school and like life that you would normally be living and like having to go to rehearsals. So I'm excited to like see how I balance it all.
Cool. What else have you been doing while you've been in quarantine? Obviously some school classes and things like that. Is there anything else? Have you picked up any hobbies? Reading a lot? What have you been doing?
I've been reading. I've also been watching a lot of movies. I love watching movies. One of my favorite things. I just like get obsessed with a movie and then I have to know like everything about its creation and like all the actors. I just love diving into that. So I've been watching a lot of movies. I'm also reading Dune. I don't know if you know what that is. Science fiction novel. It's like, it's a big book. So I'm trying to make my way through that. And then just school. My school is actually still pretty rigorous. There's not a lot of slacking off on classes going on. So that pretty much takes up most of my time these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen, one of the scripts that I saw for Quarantine the Musical was an early version.
Yes.
I think you have the rehearsal script at this point. What are your first impressions when you read through this script?
I think first of all, it's awesome. I think it's really great because it shows like how all these different characters who are going through like the same event kind of deal with it differently, and how you see like the same reactions and different reactions and how like family life is affected. And I think it's just great because it's one of those stories where you just see so many different point of views, and that really like everyone will be able to identify with someone in the story. So I think that's really special.
Cool, great.
Yeah.
Okay, you play Cora Lockton.
I do.
Is she anything like you? What can you tell us about her?
I think she is. She's a high school student and she's going through, she is pretty much just like me because she's a high school student and she's trying to navigate like how she's going to continue to live her life through a screen at this point. And I think she's having a little bit of a hard time because she's so used to like being with her friends and her teachers and has like depended on those like relationships for so long that it's hard to just like drop it and go to everything else. So I think Quarantine the Musical is like really cool for Cora because you see her like navigate her way through this and like how to deal with everything from the boredom to like not being able to see her friends.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to give you a chance to perform your audition piece that got you the most votes and cast. That's a unique situation to have essentially the audience cast a show.
Yeah.
So the production team comes into a show that they don't have any say in.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting dynamic that we'll hopefully touch on as we go through these next few weeks and get into rehearsals. But tell us a little bit about the piece that you chose as your audition piece for Quarantine the Musical.
Yes, so I chose I See the Light. It's originally from Tangled, but I just saw a lot of potential because, in Tangled, Rapunzel's like, she's stuck up in her tower, and I feel the same way. We're trapped. So I just rewrote a few lyrics to make it more relevant to the virus, and that's how it was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to turn it over to you. Take it away.
Sweet.
Whenever you're
All these days watching from the windows, All these weeks stuck inside my home. All that time watching lots of TV and sitting on my phone. Now I'm here on day 20. Now I'm here, suddenly I see. Standing here, it's all so clear. I won't survive this quarantine. Will I ever see the light? It seems we're here forever. I just want to go outside, but I listen to the CDC. I'm bored, yes, very bored every day. But the world has somehow shifted. All at once, everyone is distancing now that there's Corona.
All right, Kay, thank you. That's
Yes,
great.
thank you.
It's got to be a little strange too, where we are now, where you're putting all of this out there and you're not getting that reaction that you're so used to getting from an audience. You know, I mean, that's, you know, you were talking about watching a lot of movies and things like that, and that's obviously what, you know, what happens in film. But obviously, you know, the theater community is much different, and we get that interaction with audiences. So, yeah,
for sure.
All right, great. All right, so we're gonna don't go anywhere. I know you've got a busy schedule, as we all do these days, but we're gonna bring on Noah Wardy.
Hi.
Hi, Noah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
All right, welcome. You are no stranger to Theater Charlotte. You were in Oliver in the fall. And how was that for you? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was one of the first productions where I'm like close to everyone in the show, because I feel like everyone in the other shows I just didn't get along with, but the Theater Charlotte community is just so tight and loving and accepting, and that's what made the show more fun overall. And it was just a great experience.
Great, that's awesome. We love to hear that. That's something that we, you know, that's the community, the community in Theater Charlotte, and family. I mean, that's something that that a lot of people talk about, is the friendships that they get through Theater Charlotte, and relationships that last for a long time. So it's great to hear that. What can you tell us some other shows that you've been in?
Two of my favorite shows that I've been in besides Oliver, I was in Gypsy last year in February, and that was just fun, even though I was in it for like 20 minutes and I had 4 quick changes. But the rest of the show, we just got to hang out in the green room, so that was fun. And then I was in Your Good Man Charlie Brown as Snoopy, which was my first like lead-ish role, and that was fun. So
I would say Snoopy's a pretty integral character to that story. So yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So you are online schooled, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any advice for those of us that are now having to switch over to that platform?
I'd say even though you're at home, keep doing your work on time and keep it in at time, because even if you miss like 3 days, it's going to overwhelm you and you'll have to do it over the weekend and you'll have no free time and then you'll cry. So
So do you keep a pretty steady, consistent schedule?
yeah, I
every
try
day?
to, especially because I have to finish my algebra course in September, so I have to keep up the pace. And I just started like a week ago, so it's very fast.
Is this year round? Or do you have like a break?
I
throughout?
have,
I don't know how
we have
often it works.
We have breaks, but like on the weekends, of course. But I'm taking like there's some courses that are on pace, and then some others where you just go your own
Okay.
and finish it whenever you can. and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing you're going to do when you're no longer under quarantine? Have you thought about that?
You know what? I don't really know of a. I guess just
So
being
many things.
around people is one of my favorite things when I don't have to socialize. And this is why it's so hard. So I think I want to go if I could afford it to New York City, and there's Broadway there. So yeah.
Just jump right in there. How did it feel to find out that you had been chosen as a finalist for a lead role in Quarantine the Musical?
I was very surprised because there's so many. I watched all the videos and everyone was just so talented that like I don't understand, and all the lyrics were just genius. And yeah, it was very exciting for me, and I'm very glad to get the role of Omar at home.
What made you audition?
Um,
This is a show that is still in the works. I mean, it's not like
yeah.
usually when you go into an audition, you have an opportunity to maybe read the script in advance or something like that. And this is, you're coming in completely cold. So what made you audition?
I auditioned because one, I love the Theater Charlotte community, obviously, and what better thing to do during quarantine when I can't actually be in a musical to be in one online, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a very good idea.
Cool. All right, so tell us a little bit about Omar at home.
Oh, okay. So Omar at home, he is basically the opposite of me. He is 12 years old, and
12 is the opposite of 13? Is that what you're telling me?
yeah.
Okay.
And his favorite pastime that he's picked up in quarantine is knitting with his grandma. Yeah,
Interesting.
very cool.
Wow.
And then he loves socializing, but now that all of this came on him, and he's just very upset. And his favorite color is blue because it represents his everyday mood. It's very sad for poor
So
Omar.
a social character now put in isolation. We'll get to see how that plays on him and how that affects him throughout the course of the show.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Okay, so tell us, you're going to perform your audition piece, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this piece and why you chose to sing this song.
Okay. So I chose What If from the Addams Family. And one, Addams Family is one of my favorite musicals, I think. And two, what if, like, the title is literally a question, like, what if blah, blah, blah. So I just developed a bunch of ideas, like, what if I was able to go out? What if all of those. And yeah, I just thought it was a good idea for the song choice.
All right, excellent. All right, so I'm going to step aside, and Noah, you can take it away when you're ready.
Okay, cool. What if the coronavirus went away? Why can't it just die? What if I was able to go? Never mind, I'll just cry. What if I want to buy tissues or apple pie? Oh, big surprise right here. All of the shelves are cleared. I can't stand this quarantine. Just let me be a teen. I want out of this house. When will COVID stop this mess? Does Rona know? Without it, I'd live a happy life. I'll go outside again, and I will see my friends. Toilet paper will be back, so I can wipe my tears. Please, coronavirus, just stop and bring the earth to
Awesome, outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you very
So
much.
I know you're obviously very young, but do you are you at all interested in writing lyrics to songs? Have you thought about maybe what you want to do? Make a career out of theater, or
I think I do want to make a career out of theater, but I have plans if it doesn't work out because it's a very hard path to choose. But I noticed like a lot of people in the theater community pick up writing songs, and this is the first song I wrote. But
yeah?
I don't see writing songs as a future for me, but maybe just participating in
Yeah,
musicals instead.
excellent. Well, we certainly, obviously, your audience enjoyed your audition piece, and we look forward to checking in with you down the road. But hang tight, we're gonna put you backstage for just a second.
Okay.
Throughout the coming weeks on this broadcast, we want to share with you some of our favorite audition videos. And this audition piece that we're going to show you included one of those fancy little donate buttons, and it ended up being one of our top fundraisers. So here is Nancy Cottingham's audition for Quarantine the Musical at Theater Charlotte.
Hi, my name is Nancy Cottingham, and my young friend Kate Sakamoto has challenged me to audition for Theater Charlotte's Quarantine the Musical, which is a fun little fundraiser they are doing to help keep us entertained during these difficult times. I first appeared on the stage in Theater Charlotte in 2004 as a dead person in our town, and the coolest thing about that to me was that I actually had lines as a dead person. And then last year, I played Mrs. Bedwin in Oliver. And in between there, I have attended many wonderful performances through the years, and I appreciate very much what Theater Charlotte does for the community. So I want to support them in this way. I also want to nominate Karen Cry and Suzanne Newsom, who, if you haven't already done this, please do this or take this as a challenge. And I want to thank my friend Marty Gregory for the recorded accompaniment that I am using. Thank you. If you really knew me. If you really loved me, if you really truly loved me, maybe you'd stay home instead of dropping by to just say hi, knowing that the virus, yes, this bad coronavirus, could be on your clothes or worse, even be up your nose. If we call one another, keep in touch but stay apart, we can shoot this thing right through the heart. If we love each other, if we turn our eyes to those in need, we can make a difference, even from a distance. And we will be reminded who we can be. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, let's bring Kate and Noah on one more time. I've got just a couple of questions, and we're going to wrap up here. So, Kate and Noah, You two have never worked together before, is that right?
Correct.
And okay, so this is a script. The whole show is a work in progress. Something like I mentioned earlier, the script was still being worked. You kind of came into these auditions cold. Have either of you worked on a show that is still being developed?
No.
No,
No.
I wish.
First time.
Sounds, I mean, yeah, this is it. Like, it's a cool process to be a part of.
Yeah, and you can like develop your own character.
Mhm.
It's very cool.
Yeah, all original. So that's, yeah, cool. Okay, so a question for each of you. How are you keeping up with your acting chops while you're in quarantine? Is there anything that you're doing?
I'll let you take that one first, Noah.
Well, I was in an acting class and we're doing it online now. And for like musical theater, I make sure I'm practicing my singing every day. I'm practicing monologues just to keep it in my mind, just in case the coronavirus stops out of nowhere and I have an audition. But yeah, I make sure to keep in touch with everything.
I'm still doing voice lessons. I'm doing those virtually with the wonderful Emily Whitty. I know she's around Theater Charlotte a lot, so I'm sure you guys know her. And I'm doing the J Stage show. So we're still, you know, exercising those muscles.
Excellent. Cool. Okay, one last question. What are you most looking forward to in the show Quarantine the Musical?
I'm really looking forward to see how the audience, I'm looking forward to see the audience's reaction. Because since it's like, kind of we're developing it as we go, I think it'll be really fun to see like how the finalists change it up and like how the audience reacts to that, and just to see how all these characters, like how their quarantine experiences play out.
Yeah, I am really excited to work with the cast of Quarantine the Musical, and we can just develop our own characters and just everything about the show together. So we're all going through the same process, and yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to see what we're working on.
Yes.
I lied. I've got one more question. Do either of you know anybody in the cast? You've seen the cast list, right?
I think so.
Yes. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I know Gracie Bryant.
Okay.
And then I don't remember the rest of the cast.
Okay. All right. So for the most part, just all new. Right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Kate McCracken and Noah Wardy as Cora Lockton and Omar at Home in Theater Charlotte's upcoming production of Quarantine the Musical. Hopefully we'll get a chance to check back in with you guys in a couple of weeks once rehearsals get underway and see how things are going.
Sweet.
Thank you.
All
right. Thank you. All right, that is going to wrap up this edition of TC at Home. Don't forget Theater Charlotte's Isolation Radio Hour on Wednesdays at 7:30, and join us next Sunday at 7 o'clock for another in-depth look at Quarantine the Musical on TC at Home. Theater Charlotte is a nonprofit organization, and like so many other arts groups, we have had to change the way we bring you entertainment during the present time. While programs like TC at Home and an Isolation Radio Hour are fun and new, we miss connecting with you in person, and we certainly miss revenue from ticket sales. If you enjoy these programs, share them with your friends, your family members, your coworkers, and please consider making a donation to Theater Charlotte so that we can continue these programs and resume our normal programming as soon as we are able. I want to take just a moment to thank all of our volunteers, our performers who have been helping us with our radio shows, all of you who clicked that donate button. And through these videos alone, you've helped us raise over $3,000, so thank you. On behalf of Theater Charlotte, have a great week and good night.